Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Callie Livingston. I'm a teacher with the OCDSB, and thank you for joining this evening's presentation for the transportation trades at Centennial College. I would like to introduce you to Indira, who is going to be your presenter.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. Hi, everyone. My name is Indira Singh. I'm the Recruitment and Liaison Officer at the School of Transportation at Centennial College. So today I'm going to teach you all about the different programs and apprenticeships in Ontario so that you have an idea. So before I get started, Centennial College is proud to be a part of a rich history of education in this province and in this city. We acknowledge that we're on the treaty lands and the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and pay tribute to their legacy and the legacy of all First Peoples of Canada as we strengthen ties with the communities we serve and build a future through learning and through our graduates. Today, the traditional meeting place of Toronto is still home to many Indigenous people across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work in the communities that have grown in the treaty lands of the Mississaugas. We acknowledge that we are all treaty people and accept our responsibility to honor all our relations. So in general, Centennial College is located in the east end of Toronto. We are primarily east of the DVP. We do have a campus at Downsview, which is at Keele and Shepherd, which we have our aircraft maintenance programs and our aerospace manufacturing programs. Our Story Arts Center, SAC, has most of our media arts design programs. Our PAC campus is our performing arts campus where you'll find music, theater, dance. Ashtonby, you'll find all of our transportation trades that run on the ground, as well as some of our community health studies, such as early childhood education, developmental service worker, social service worker. Progress is our main campus that's located at Markham Road in the 401 that houses our business programs, culinary arts, hospitality, engineering, IT, and so forth, and some of our community health studies like police foundations as well. And then finally, Morningside is primarily our health sciences as well as our engineering for architecture, environmental sciences, and we have the nursing programs, paramedic programs, et cetera, at Morningside. So that's just a quick overview of Centennial College. So I'm located at Ashtonby campus, so that this is where we have, as I mentioned, all of the programs that run on the ground. And then we have our Downsview campus, which is primarily, these are only for School of Transportation. And then we have a partnership with Canadian Flight Academy / Toronto Airways for our pilot training program that runs out of Oshawa. But it will be moving to Peterborough in 2026. So we are the largest on-site transportation trainer in North America. We have a lot of great connections to industry. We have about 3,000 students that attend our programs each year. And we've invested a lot of money in our equipment so that you get the best opportunity practicing on this equipment before you enter into the workforce. So I'm just going to cover what apprenticeship is. As some of you may or may not know, apprenticeship is on-the-job training and in-school learning. So together, that is how you become a licensed technician. So in Ontario, we have 144 apprenticeship or trades options, and all of them are available through apprenticeship through OEAP, which is the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. So the four sectors, as you can see on the screen, is motive power, service, construction, and industrial. So the School of Transportation will fall under the motive power sector. The red maple leaf that you see on the screen is called a red seal trade. And this trade allows you to work anywhere in Canada once you have scored 70% or higher on your Certificate of Qualifications exam, which is your final exam to become a licensed technician. Any trade that has a green triangle means that you have to be licensed in that trade to perform it. So the pathway options are through your school, so through OEAP. OEAP has many different opportunities for students to enter into the apprenticeship field. They have a program called Accelerated OEAP Level 1. So as you can see on the screen, you actually will complete on-the-job training as well as your first level, so level 1 training in high school. Then you will graduate and then you will continue on the journey with your on-the-job training with an employer. Then there is the college pathway. So in college, you can either take a certificate program, a 2-year diploma program, or a modified apprenticeship program. These are your options to enter into a program that does allow you to graduate with some apprenticeship in school training or all, depending on which program you take. And then after graduation from college, you have to continue working with an employer in the field. And then that's what we call the traditional pathway. So your apprenticeship actually starts after college graduation. And sorry, in college, we also have some opportunities like co-op to give you that on-the-job real world experience while you're in school learning. And your third is getting hired with an employer. So after high school, once you graduate, you can get hired by an employer who's willing to take you on as an apprentice. Make sure you are registered and you sign your RTA, which is your registered training agreement with the employer. Obviously, the ministry has to be involved, as well as Skilled Trades Ontario, because all of everybody working together, yourself, the employer, the ministry, and Skilled Trades, is how you will finally make it to the end of your roadway, which is your certificate of qualifications exam. So as I mentioned, the ministry, so Ministry of Labor, Immigration, Training, and Skills Development is the governing body of all the trades in Ontario. So all 144 trades will go through this organization. And then Skilled Trades Ontario is the certification body of all the trades in Ontario. So they're the ones that are going to tell you when it's time for you to go to school, as well as, the ministry will tell you when to go to school, and then Skilled Trades Ontario will tell you when it's time to write your exam. So while you're in high school, you can pay attention to the following things to be successful in apprenticeship. You can take U-level courses if you will be okay doing them and not failing or so forth. If you can't handle the U-level courses, that's okay. I'm not saying you have to take U-levels, but U-levels will better prepare you to enter into college. However, like I said, with your C-level courses, make sure your math is 11M or U. It cannot be 11C when applying to the programs in transportation for our program options. Sciences, it's good to know physics and chemistry. You don't have to have this, but it's good to know. So I always recommend students take physics and chemistry. Also, you can take some business courses, some entrepreneurial studies, because maybe one day you may want to open up your own business. And then, of course, take your tech classes in school, do co-op, do OYAP in your SHISM as well, which is your specialist high school major. For anyone who's interested in non-related trades programs, you can use ontransfer.ca to see which programs are what we call articulation agreements now between colleges and universities. So you can check out this website to see where you can transfer, like if you're doing like-minded programs such as business to business, engineering to engineering, you would take this program. You would use this website to figure out what programs will have transferable credits for you. So we're going to talk about the college pathway for getting into the trades. Oh, sorry, this is a repeat. I'm going to just fast forward that. So as I mentioned before, so doing the motive power programs, you can start in high school as either a specialist high school major student or an Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program student. You could actually complete level 1 accelerated OYAP at Centennial College, as long as you're in our region. In grade 12, and then you possibly will get hired as an apprentice after graduation. Or, as I mentioned, you can do college, which I'm going to talk about now. Or if you have an employer who's ready to sponsor you, you sign your RTA, and then you submit it to Skilled Trades Ontario to become an apprentice in Ontario. For aviation, so our aviation programs are federally regulated. There is an apprenticeship that you would still have to do. If you meet the basic requirements through us, you would be exempt from your from doing the training for your with Transport Canada. So you'll be granted 18 out of 48 months if you take one of our 2-year programs and you meet the accreditation process. So once again, after graduating from our programs, you have to go into the industry, complete your other 30 months of your apprenticeship, and find your employer, et cetera, et cetera. So for us, Remember, apprenticeship will happen after college graduation. So when you are at college, you are not an apprentice. You are simply a student coming to college. Some of our programs do offer co-op as well as placement. And then some of our programs will grant you the credits towards your level 1, level 2, or level 3 for your in-school training. We do have certificates that are 1 year or less, or we have diploma programs. And all of our programs are ministry regulated. So this is why we can offer you these options for your apprenticeship. So we have 6 areas of study. We have auto body, automotive, aviation, heavy duty equipment, motorcycle and power sports, and truck and coach technician training. All of this information can be found at my booth or at this website below, centennialcollege.ca/transportation. So academic wise, we are looking for you to have English grade 12. So the two programs at the top of the screen, auto body and motorcycle, will allow students to apply with a workplace level E or college or university for grade 12 English only. But all of our other programs require you to have English and math. So grade 12 English, college, or university, and math, as I mentioned before, has to be 11 mixed level or university, and grade 12 college and university. So these are all the different programs we have to offer students. We have airframe assembly, which is dealing with the manufacturing or the assembly part of the aircraft. So you'll be learning things like reading structural blueprints, riveting techniques, and so forth. Auto body, well, as you may or may not know, auto body technicians actually deal with the outside of the car. So I like to say an auto body technician is like the plastic surgeon of the automotive world. They only fix the cars to make it look pretty again once it gets into an accident. Automotive fundamentals is a 1-year program, and you'll finish 1 level of in-school training. Sorry, with auto body, you'll finish 1 level of in-school training as well. So as I mentioned, once you graduate, you have to come back for levels 2 and 3. Then we have automotive pre-app as well. So this is a pre-apprenticeship program. It runs in April. So students who are in high school usually do not apply to pre-apprenticeship programs. They would have had to been out of high school because in April you're still in school. So that wouldn't work for you. Then we have the motorcycle and power sports product repair techniques program. Motorcycle has only 2 levels of in-school training. So you'll finish 1 level with us, and then you graduate, find your employer, and then come back for level 2. The truck and coach ATS and the Volvo Mac program, those are a little bit different. They're called modified apprenticeships, and a student only spends 32 weeks with us. There are 2-week placements, so 1 2-week in semester 1 and then another 2 weeks in semester 2. So students will actually finish all 3 levels of their in-school training. However, these 2 programs, it's very fast-paced learning because it's only 32 weeks. But if you can handle it, and with Volvo Mac, if you score 70% or higher, you're automatically guaranteed a job interview at a Volvo or Mac fleet or dealer. So if you're interested in truck and coach, those are 2 options for you as well coming out of high school. We do have truck and coach pre-app as well. You just have to double check if it's running. I'm not sure if it's going to be running in fall 2025. And then for the last one for certificates is our Canadian Integrated Airline Transport Pilot License Program. Yes, we do teach students how to fly. So if you're interested in that, as I mentioned, it's located in Oshawa for now. It's about $125,000. Unfortunately, no OSAP is available. So students would have to pay out of pocket or connect with a local bank to get an educational loan to pay for the program. And then moving on to the 2-year program. So we have auto body repair technician. So you'll finish 2 out of your 3 levels of in-school training. Once again, you're spending an extra year in the program, so you're learning more skills, more knowledge about the auto body world. Then we have for automotive, we have the automotive motive power technician, program 8202, and program 8226 for AST co-op partnered with MVRO, which is the Motor Vehicle Retailers of Ontario, and FCA, which is Fiat Chrysler Automobiles. So these 2 programs is the same curriculum. However, Program 8202 is not competitive. Program 8226, there's only 70 seats. So 35 students will be selected to go to MVRO and 35 will go to FCA. With 8226, students do need to have a driver's license, so at least a G2 starting in our program, or sorry, a G1 and then about to get their G2. There is a mandatory 8th-month paid work experience available with that one. With 8202, it's just an optional 4-month co-op. Then we have a non-technical program. We have program 8210, which is the automotive parts and service operations. So if you really like automotive, but you don't want to do the technician training side of things, you just want to do the business side of things, then you can take that program. And then we have our two aviation programs. So we have aircraft maintenance, which deals all with the mechanical side of the aircraft. So remember, all of these programs teaches you how to fix, except for the ones that are not technical, like pilots and automotive service parts and airframe assembly. But all the other programs are technician programs, so you're learning how to fix things. So aircraft maintenance is dealing with the mechanical side of the aircraft, so fixing the engines, the wings, etc., landing gear. Avionics is the electrical side of the aircraft. So for your AME licenses, it would be the M-rated license for aircraft maintenance and then the E-rated license for avionics. And avionics will cover everything from the navigation systems to the lighting, the wiring, everything on the plane that's electrical. And heavy duty equipment. So heavy duty equipment is the highest paying transportation trade because the technicians, sometimes they have to work outside. So it's not always nice and warm like how it was today. You know, sometimes it's cold, it's muddy, it's rainy. And you being an in-field technician, you would have to go to the machinery to fix it. So heavy duty equipment in-field technicians get paid really well. But in general, even if you work in a shop environment as well, and you specialize yourself in terms of, you know, fixing one part of the equipment, you can definitely make a lot of money that way too. So heavy duty equipment technician, that's your 421A license. You get 2 out of 3 levels taking the diploma program. There is an optional co-op as well. 4 months co-op, and then truck and coach, same thing. You're going to learn how to fix everything on the truck. And it's a 2-year program. You'll finish 2 out of 3 levels. So you have to come back for level 3 after graduation. So modified, we do have some automotive modified programs that I didn't mention before because they're not what we call post-secondary options. So you have to be working at Canadian Tire, Ford, GM, Acura, Honda, Lexus, or Toyota mentioned on the screen. It's a 64-week program. Students will spend 32 weeks at the college, 32 weeks at the dealership, and every 4 weeks, they switch out between the two. So ideally, if you are a good technician, you can possibly get your license, your certification at the end of this program, or at least like maybe a couple months later to finish all of your on-the-job training. So that's another option. If anyone is working at these dealerships, you can chat with your supervisor about the modified apprenticeship program. So remember, traditional apprenticeship happens after graduation from college or happens after graduation from high school. So traditional apprenticeship is you graduating and then starting with an employer, which is the on-the-job training portion of the apprenticeship. And then the ministry will tell you to come back to Centennial, for example, to do your in-school training for motive power. So you have to find your employer to hire, train, and register you as an apprentice. There's different types of in-school learning. So there's a block release, day release, night release. So that's your schooling is a little bit different. This has to be a conversation between you and your supervisor. So it all depends on the shop size and what they're willing to let you go to study. And then, as I mentioned, pre-app, it's a free tuition-free program. So it's a really great program. As you can see, you'll get some academic upgrading, technical skills, as well as a work placement. So all of this happens free of cost. You also get some basic tools and some textbooks. This program is very competitive for people to apply to it. So like I said, if you're interested in it, you have to make sure that you get your application in and hopefully things will work out. But remember, if you're in high school, you cannot apply for a pre-apprenticeship program. You have to wait until you leave high school. So some of the reasons why people choose the trades, well, because depending on what you like to do, you're not behind a desk. You're not working in an office environment. Typically, you're either in a shop environment or you're out there in the real environment of nature. So depending on what you want to do, you can make really great money doing what you love. And having that red seal status can take you across Canada, as I mentioned. And then being Canadian, being certified will make you a very valuable technician as well out there in the world. So those, basically, as they say, the world is your oyster when it comes to the trades. So how to become a certified technician for the motive power sector. So number one, you have to have your high school diploma or equivalent. You have to have an employer. You have to sign that RTA. You have to be registered as an apprentice. As I mentioned, you have to do your on-the-job training. For the motive power sector, we do something called competency-based training. So no longer gathering of hours like an electrician. So your book has to be signed off once by a journey person or someone who's certified themselves. You have to complete all of your in-school training. As I mentioned, it's typically 3 levels for motive power, but they are talking about going to 4 levels now, but nothing has been solidified as yet. Once the 1 to 4 is completed, you have to submit your certificate of apprenticeship completion after finishing all of your schooling and submitting your completed logbook. And then you create a free portal at Skill Trades Ontario. And then Skill Trades Ontario will contact you to pay for your exam. And then you have to contact your local apprenticeship office to set your test date. And then once you take your test, if you pass 70% or higher, you'll automatically get that red seal if that applies to your trade. I already talked about that. So some supports at the college. So we have lots of support systems in place to help students, especially if you have an IEP coming from high school. We have the Center for Accessible Learning and Counseling Services. So I would highly recommend that you connect with these folks during the summertime. All of our programs at the School of Transportation only starts in the fall. So getting your supports in place for fall would be best for you. But we offer everything else: orientation, free tutoring. We have food banks, health and dental plans, etc. Tuition is about $39.50 for most of our programs, but tuition does vary by program. So please make sure you look closely at the program you're interested in, how much it's going to cost you. The apprenticeship fees are much cheaper. So if you can do the apprenticeship route, that would be cheaper for you, but it's always sometimes difficult for students to secure an employer. So whichever pathway works out best for you, you can look into it. Other fees are your books, equipment, travel, parking at school, residence, and then your personal expenses: phone, internet, food, rent, etc., having a social life. So all of this has to be supported by money somehow. So if you don't have the bank of mom and dad available, or aunt and uncle or grandparents, you can apply for as many scholarships and bursaries and awards at the college at Centennial. And we also have a couple of great skill trade scholarships at Centennial. We have the Canna Rector Foundation Scholarship, where students will get up to $5,000. And then we have the Schulich Builder Scholarship for skilled trades, where students will get up to 20,000 if they're doing a 1-year program, or 40,000 if they do a 2-year program. So these are really great stepping stones in terms of helping you become a good technician, helping you purchase your tools out of college, paying for tuition and so forth. So if you can apply, I would highly recommend that you apply for these as soon as possible. You can apply for Schulich while you're still in high school if you're in grade 12. Just connect with your guidance department. You will need a reference letter from someone from your high school, so make sure you're nice to all your teachers. And then we have OSAP. So OSAP is a government loan, the Ontario Student Assistance Program. You do pay it back 6 months after graduation. So it's made up of loans and grants. The loan portion you pay back, the grant portion you don't pay back. And then for apprentices, the government pays you $4,000 to get your license. So once you complete level 1, you'll get $1,000. Complete level 2, you'll get another $1,000. And then complete level 3, you'll get $2,000. And you don't have to pay this money back. So in terms of applying to our post-secondary programs, it's $150. You get 5 choices at 5 different colleges, or 3 choices to 1 college and then 2 choices elsewhere. Everything is done at ontariocolleges.ca. The equal consideration deadline is coming up February 1st, 2025, and then you have to confirm your offer by May 1st, 2025. So remember to pay your fees, build your timetable in the summertime, and then you will start class in September of 2025. So we do have open house coming up on Saturday, November 16th from 10 to 2 p.m. at all of our campuses. So please make sure if you are available to come and check us out, please do. You'll get to see all of what we do at Centennial and see if it's a place where you belong. And just quickly, I wanted to share some lab spaces with you so you actually see what we do at the college for technician training. So this is our heavy duty equipment and truck engine lab. So these engines are pretty tall. They're as tall as I am, and I'm pretty short. So they're taller than me. But yeah, once again, in this lab, you see all the hoses connected to the engines. That means that they actually run. And then the static engines in the back, like that green one, you will learn how to disassemble it and reassemble it. So a lot of hands-on happens at the college, even though it is 40% hands-on and 60% theoretical. This is our fuels lab, and as you can see, we have a lot of trainers. So this is a console lab trainer at the very front of the screen. So once again, your teacher can put a fault in this engine. It does run, it is connected to a hose. And then you have to figure out why the engine isn't running. So this is, the purpose of training aids is for you to visually see how everything is connected so that you understand once you're looking at it, in the vehicle, which is on the hoist there, exactly how all the components work together. This is our electrical lab. So once again, a lot of trainers, and then we have the actual vehicle in the lab as well. And yes, our shops are really this clean. We do take pride in keeping our workspaces very clean. The alignment machine that you see at the very back of the room there, Canadian Tire uses those Hunter alignment machines very often in all of their shops pretty much. So once again, that's the purpose of coming to college, is to really hone your skills, really become a good technician, getting used to all of this equipment so that you don't have to do all your on-the-job training on the spot. This is our auto body paint lab. So this is the oven, so to speak. This is where you would do your painting and then you would put it in the oven to cure or to bake, so to speak. So yeah, students, they don't get to touch automotive paint right away. We do have a simulation that they have to get a certain score. And then after that simulation, they work with cornstarch and water, which has the same density as paint. And then once they've mastered cornstarch and water, then they will move on to actual automotive paint because it's super expensive. But yeah, you get to do all these hands-on things. And this is now our electric vehicles lab. So yes, we do have TTC buses in our labs because we do have a TTC modified apprenticeship program. However, like the automotive ones, you do have to be working at TTC and your supervisor will send you to Centennial. We also have a trailer there, as you can see. So we do have truck trailer as a traditional apprenticeship program as well. So we do teach apprentices how to fix the trailer part of the trucks. And then we have some Canada Post vehicles that's been donating to us. So, we've been pretty fortunate to have a lot of great corporate partners at the School of Transportation. And this is our power sports lab. So fun fact, if it doesn't run on the road, you don't need a license to fix it. So, we have things in this lab like lawnmowers, snow blowers. So I always tell students, anything with a small engine is in this lab, even boat engines. So I always tell students you can take this program first because it's only 28 weeks. You can learn how to fix small engines and then make it a little side job, walking around your neighborhood, offering your services to fix people's equipment, and then you can charge a small fee. So it's a win-win situation. And then moving on to our Downsview campus. So Bombardier graciously donated us the Global 7500. So we do actually have this plane in our possession. This is the inside cockpit of it. And this is the apron that we have at Downsview. So that's another Bombardier CRJ plane that we have. And we have helicopters and propeller planes. So we have a variety of planes for students to work on in our aviation programs. We don't have a typical co-op because, as you can see, working in our hangar space is like being at a job site. So a lot of the experience is very hands-on, just like our auto body program as well. We don't have co-op in auto body. This is inside now the hangar. So this is the big hangar, and then this is our avionics lab, and then our sheet metal lab. So once again, the students would be working in this lab as well for airframe assembly, as well as aircraft maintenance. And then every year, to help our students, we have an employer grad fair. This picture doesn't really do it justice, but that same hangar that you saw, we empty it out and then we pack it with employers, and students will, make their way in dressed nicely, have their resumes ready. And some of our students get hired on the spot. So it's a really great opportunity for students to get into the industry. And of course, be very nice to your college professors because they are still connected to industry. So they would definitely recommend you for a job if they feel like you are a passionate student. You show up on time, you show that you're interested in learning and so forth. So yeah, you can definitely do well at Centennial. So if you have any further questions for me, you can reach out to my email or give me a call, or just visit the programs at the website here. And I want to thank you for joining me tonight. And I hope you have a rest of a wonderful evening. And Kelly, I'll pass it back to you.
Yes, everybody. I'm just curious if anybody has any questions right now. We do have a bit more time. You can just write your questions in the chat and then I can read them out loud. So you maybe just give it a minute or two and then we can see if anybody has any questions. Honestly, it was so well done. So it was excellent. Thank you so much for presenting. This was really, really great information.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.